Hey guys, welcome to Chat with KST. It's your girl Kay, and today what we're going to do is we're going to discuss a series of celebrities and their controversies that they've been involved in the media. But before we do jump into that, we are also on YouTube. And if you are watching this on YouTube, I just want to advise you that this is a podcast. And because it is a podcast, there won't be much of any visuals on the screen. But nonetheless, stick around because this podcast is going to be lit anyway. So let's jump into it. First celeb we have up is Carrie Hilson. And this is what Carrie Hilson had to say. I like to feel that my man is dangerous when necessary. I just like that feeling, that strong sense of protection in every form as his woman. But I prefer and pray that he never needs to exercise it. I think as women, we can generally agree that, we want our man to be protectors and providers, and we want him to be strong physically, mentally, and emotionally, especially because women, we are the weaker vessel. So, having a strong man there that you feel like can defend you if need be, I feel like that's every woman's desire, and I don't think Carrie Hilson should feel guilty for wanting that. And of course, we don't want him to essentially get in trouble or go to jail or anything because of that sense of strength, but we do want him to have that sense of strength. So I can definitely agree with Carrie Hilson here. Now, off of the celebrities for a little bit, I seen this post on It's On Site by Nichelle Hunter, and what it said was, if you're with your man, is it wrong for him to hold the door open for another female? I feel like this is a form of disrespect. Nichelle Hunter, I disagree with you. I think men are out here. They're meant to be gentlemen. They're meant to be gentlemen to me. They're meant to be a gentleman to everyone else. And I don't think it's a form of disrespect. The fact that he did it to your face, he's showing you that, hey, I don't mind holding a door for someone else, especially in front of you. If he was doing it behind your back now and not doing it to your face, then that probably would have signaled something, a red flag, that he felt more comfortable doing these things behind your back and not to your face. But the fact that he's doing it to your face is showing that I don't think it's a sign of disrespect. I think it's a sign of a man just saying he's a gentleman and he's going to be a gentleman all the way around. But yeah, back onto the celebrities. According to the Neighborhood Talk, Soulja Boy has been ordered to pay his ex-girlfriend $235K in damages. This was an incident that occurred a while back. So what it says is, neighbors, Big Draco just doesn't know how to keep his hands to himself, and now he has to pay for it. According to documents obtained by Radar Online, Soulja Boy has to pay his ex-girlfriend Kayla Meir $235K after Los Angeles jury sided with her in their civil lawsuit. So Soulja Boy has this history and has been known for putting his hands on people. The other young lady that he did it on, when he was on, I think it was like one of those shows, Love and Hip Hop. He was on one of those reality TV shows, and her name is escaping me at the moment, but I'm like remembering her name, but then her name is also escaping me, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But she also commented on Soulja Boy being very abusive as well. So Soulja Boy has to learn to keep his hands to himself, and the simple fact that it is gonna cost him. And I like the fact that she went and hit him in the pockets, because a lot of celebrities, that's where they feel the hurt. They feel it in their pockets. And a lot of times too, when you're trying to pursue them criminally, you don't really get much out of the case, because you're going up against a giant. Whereas if you're able to do so civil if you're able to do so civilly, I feel like there is more of a chance for you to gain, where you would be able to get a good lawyer who would advocate for you because they know that there's going to be a payout. We're going and pursuing someone criminally, especially a celebrity, for abusing you or some sort like that. I feel like it's just a longer process, and you need proof, and you need all these different things, and you may never get justice served. So I'm happy that she was able to do that and get justice served on her side. Now, Michelle Obama and Oprah Winfrey sat down, and this is what they had to say.
Going high doesn't mean you don't feel the rage, right? It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to feel. It doesn't mean that you are complacent in unfairness and inequality. It doesn't mean you don't do the work. It's just the choice of your approach.
So that's what Michelle That's what Michelle Obama had to say, and I think it was a quick message to us as the public, just saying like sometimes we do take the high road, sometimes we don't essentially have to react in a certain way or let the anger get to us. And when we're in those moments where we don't let the anger get to us and we do take the higher road, we don't have to feel like we're a punk. We don't have to feel like we've lost something. We can feel stronger. We can feel better. We can feel more equipped to handle situations. We can feel more mature about our decisions that we made. There's so much positive ways in which you can look at taking the high road and not having to look at it in a negative light. So shout out to Michelle Obama for the message. Now, Lorenz Tate was recently on a podcast and he was discussing Black actors, and let's just listen to what he had to say.
I don't see the next rendition of the Black male actor because of the British invasion. What are your thoughts?
I don't look at it as a competition. I look at the collective. Okay. So, there's brothers who are doing it, whether they're doing it here in America, whether they're doing it, over from the UK or even from the mother continent, Africa. Yeah. I'm cool with whatever it's going to be. But I feel like Hollywood believes there's more value in British Black actors than they do Black actors. And I think a part of it goes into that, they have an audience over there. So they translate internationally. Going back to that, what I think is, a hoax, that we don't sell or we're not valuable. So I think they put that in the mix.
So I definitely not essentially agree with what Lorenz Tate had to say, but I can understand where he's coming from. Whereas, because I've heard this before, where people say, well, actors say that British actors are valued more, and sometimes I've even heard this said that African actors are valued more because they cost less. So hearing that the reason why British Black actors are valued more in the American scene is because they have an audience that they're coming with to the American scene, which creates this imbalance between the American Black actor and them, because the American Black actor's audience is essentially in America. I feel like it's a little bit sad, because you're wanting work in your own land, and you can't even get work in your own land because businesses are seeing it where they may be profitable to get a British Black actor or to get another to get an African actor for a lower price bracket or something like that. So I just feel like the acting scene isn't what it's like all cracked up to be. For Black American actors, I feel like back in the day, it could have been like something where Black American actors were successful, but I feel like nowadays you don't see. I feel like since everyone is transforming from TV to now, YouTube, social media, and doing all these different things, I feel like essentially people aren't on TV sitting down watching TV shows like they did before, watching movies like they did before in their house, especially in America. So it's like, to have that be a knock on your belt, then to have your jobs essentially be outsourced to other people for other reasons. I feel like it's kind of crappy for the Black American actors, and shout out to Mr. Tate for sharing that and bringing that to light. I just wish that it would be better for them, just because I haven't seen a lot of people been working a lot, and if they have been working, it's been low budget films, and you can tell that it's a low budget film because the quality of the material isn't great and stuff like that. But anyway, let's move on to what a young lady had to say. So this is for my Black girls who get their braids done, right? So this young lady had to say, I don't care how much people try to normalize $600 to $700 braids. Girl, go straight to hell. Never paying that. Truthfully, I'm not paying $300. And I am with you, girl. I am with you. I get it. Box braids and braids in general is something that is very time consuming. It is something that takes time for it to be done, but there is no way in hell I'm paying $300 for braids. I may have done it maybe once or twice before, but never doing it again. $600, $700, absolutely not. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not paying celebrity prices for braids. It's just not happening. I live in New York. If anything, I'm going down to Manhattan to where I can get it done for $200. That's what rumors are saying, that look, you get it done in Manhattan, in Harlem for $200, and that's where I'm going. Absolutely not. These goddess braids charging. I remember I had called a salon once and I was like, okay, I wanted some goddess braids down to my butt. Charge me $500. $500 for what? For what? Is that my rent? But anyway, let's move on to Keke Palmer and what she has to say about the snapback. You know, Keke Palmer recently had her baby, and everyone is like, it's snapback culture. If you're not snapping back, then something is ultimately wrong with you. So let's listen to what Keke Palmer had to say.
I was just talking about the whole bounce back body thing, especially as it pertains to seeing like celebrities or people in the industry. Like there's always this thing of like, damn, how'd they do it? And I think for me, like the main thing I would say to any new mom, is do what you can when you can. Whatever it is that makes you feel good. If it's important to you, then hell yeah, put in the work, Miss Girl. Get you whatever diet you want to do or whatever workout regimen that works for you. And if that's not what you're worried about, then don't worry about it. I think number one is about what each individual needs to feel good after having a baby, because it's a journey on its own. As somebody that's experiencing it, you need different things at different times. First couple weeks, I didn't want to do nothing. I didn't want to talk to nobody. Then I was like, I need to talk to somebody. I need to do something. And then I was like, now I want to get active. So it changes. So go at your own pace. And then also, like, let's keep it real. I've gone on my own personal journey with, how I feel about my physical appearance. And I think the main thing is I've learned through my experience is just I do what makes me feel happy. If I feel like, I need to hold it back and I need to, do a little bit more work, or I want to feel better about myself, or I feel like this is right, I just do it. But other times I'm like, yo, pull up in the drive-thru. I want the number 5 large. You know what I mean? I do what I feel when I need to, because sometimes taking it easy like that is what you need.
Shout out to Keke Palmer for that message, because a lot of baby mamas need that. A lot of people need that after having a baby, and the women who need it essentially are the women who don't snap back. Like, there are women out there, especially I was one of them, who we don't snap back. You get the stretch marks, you get your belly, it's darker than the color, so you're dealing with the discoloration, you're dealing with the stretch marks, you're dealing with the fatter stomach, you're dealing with your uterus wide open, you're dealing with a crying baby, you're dealing with not feeling as confident as you did before, you're dealing with a lot. So I feel like she says, take her advice, do what makes you feel good, do what makes you feel comfortable. If you are somebody who feel like you have to work out, don't go hard. Men, don't go hard. Just take your time, work your way back into it slowly, and just let it be. Just let it be, and don't put too much pressure on yourself. And I want to say shout out to Rihanna. She is going to be playing in the Smurfs movie, The Voice. Her voice would be in the Smurfs movie, according to the Shade Room. So she would be the Smurfette. So shout out to Rihanna. Congrats to Rihanna on that. Now let's talk this Cardi B situation with Tasha K. So we've been talking garnishments with Tasha K and Cardi B for a while now, in terms of Cardi B wanting to take Tasha K's house for, the long drawn out case that occurred, and Tasha saying she doesn't have any money. So recently, according to the Neighborhood Talk, what happened is Cardi B sent over a document to Google saying that she wants to basically start to garnish Tasha K YouTube checks. Yeah, this is bad. I don't know what to say. When we're talking garnishments and stuff like that is bad. That is bad. I do feel like in my heart of hearts, like, Cardi B is going a little bit too hard. Like, if you garnish this woman's checks, then how is she going to live? But essentially, Cardi B knows why she's doing what she's doing, and I'm gonna just not really give too much of an opinion on it, because I don't really know what to say. It's like, you've already won the case. Like, what are you still pushing for? Like, you have money already. Why do you want to take money out of this black woman's mouth? Like absolutely not. And then you stand up and you say that you're pro-black, you're pro this, you're pro what? No, you're not. Because at the end of the day, you would have realized what you're doing to a black woman, and you would have said, hey, you know what, let me back off. But anyway, that's just my opinion on it. Good luck to Tasha K, because she's gonna need it. Imi Udoka, I hope I'm saying his name correctly. So he is apologizing basically for everything that occurred. Let's listen.
As you reflect on what happened in Boston, do you feel like the Celtics were justified in the actions that they took against you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my part in it was to take ownership and accountability for my part. They had a choice to make a decision, and they went that route. And my thing was own up to it, take responsibility, and I served the suspension and had to own it, honestly. So, same thing I'll preach to the guys. I can't sit here and not take accountability myself. So, it was their right to go about it however they wanted to, and that's the choice they took.
Okay, well, he essentially didn't apologize, but he used the word own up to it, which I translate to be an apology. Like, I'm owning up to something that I did wrong. So for those of you who don't know who Imi Udoka is, I hope I'm saying his name correctly. That's Nia Long's ex, and he's just basically saying that he has to own up for cheating and getting kicked off the Boston Celtics team. He has been reassigned to a new team, which is great for him. But Nia Long and Mr. Stephen A. Smith don't seem to be that happy with his speech. This is what Stephen A. Smith had to say.
Even if they're not together, that is the father of her child. If you mention him and another woman, inevitably she's going to come up. How come nobody thought about the sister? How come they just left her out there standing on her own? I will always defend her. I will always defend her. On this issue, it was, how could you do that? You didn't have to do it that way. But to have a press conference and put his business, tacitly or otherwise, on Front Street, you didn't think about Nia Long at all. But you thought about the other woman who purportedly was white. And the one woman in this equation who was innocent and victimized was not the woman Ime Udoka was messing around with. It was Nia Long. She was the one screwed over, even if they're not together.
So that's what Mr. Stephen A. Smith had to say. And he also said that Nia Long still deserves an apology. That's what his comment said, and Nia Long responded to his comment saying, "Thank you, at Stephen A. Smith, for your support." She also said the most disrespected person in America is the black woman, Malcolm X. Nia Long then also put out a Instagram post saying, "The best revenge is no revenge. Move on and be happy." Now, how do I feel about this situation? I just feel like at some point, We all have to move on from it. And what Imi Aduka does is going to be a reflection of who he is as a man. Do I feel like Nia Long deserves an apology? Abso-freaking-lutely. That should have been one of the very first things that were done before he was even sent to a different team, before he even accepted a new job. There should have been a public apology towards her. And he didn't do that, and he hasn't done that. And I feel like now if he did it, it would just be like, oh, well, because we had to tell you to do it, now you're doing it. And I do feel like Nia Long was disrespected. Not only did you cheat on her, but you still didn't even apologize to her publicly. And you're just now just moving forward and taking ownership for it and doing and moving on, but you really haven't taken ownership. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see how this thing unfolds. We'll see how it unfolds. I really don't have much to say about it because, again, I kind of expected more from him, and he didn't give that. He didn't give that. Now, let's move on to Beyoncé. So according to Hollywood Unlocked, Beyoncé fires back at the IRS after claiming she owes $2.7 million in unpaid taxes and penalties. Excuse me, what? Absolutely not. Beyoncé. So basically, Beyonce is like, look, I am not paying no $2.7 million in no unpaid taxes. These aren't real, and I guess, look, what I want to say, I can't say. I want to say tax evasion, but like, this is Beyonce we're talking about. I'm pretty sure Beyonce has someone in her corner that ensures that all of these things are taken care of, and it's just a misunderstanding, and I'm pretty sure she will get that handled. So let's move on to our next topic. Our next topic is Little Meech and Summer Walker. So apparently Little Meech and Summer Walker are an item. Summer Walker and Little Meech were spotted out a couple times. There were some things linking the two together, but nothing concrete until a young lady post Little Meech and put Daddy Meech fine as fuck on her story, causing people to be like, well, Little Meech, are you dating Summer Walker or are you dating this white girl? And Little Meech said that was from a year ago. Summer Walker is mine. He says this is 2 years ago. Cap, Summer Walker is mine. And he made it very clear that he was dating Summer Walker and that Summer Walker is his girl, and the image that was floating around of him in bed with the white girl was actual foolishness and not true. Now let's jump into hold on, before we jump into Tyrese and what he's been ordered to pay. I don't know how I feel about Little Meech and Summer Walker. I just feel like if they're just starting to date and stuff like that, just date and see where it goes and see what happens between the two of you. I feel like both of them shouldn't put too much pressure on the relationship or too much expectation on the relationship. We don't know how long they've been dating, but we'll see how it unfolds. Now let's talk Tyrese. Tyrese has been ordered to pay, according to the Shade Room, $636,000 in child support and legal fees to his ex-wife. We had spoke about this the other day with Tyrese online, calling Martin Luther King Jr. III, doing the most, being the hostess with the mostest. And I just told him, like, look, you gotta focus on the case. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not somebody who don't feel as though racism doesn't occur in court cases. I feel like one of the most racist systems that we do still have existing to this day is our judicial system. But I feel like in the same breath, the way in which we respond and our reactions can either make or break the case. And this is what the court order is. If he wants to appeal it, then he should go ahead and do that. But hey, we weren't there when you and your wife was cozying up, so we don't want to be a part of it. When we don't want to get dragged into it when you and your wife are now being split apart. That's how I feel about it. But Jason Lee, he was talking about Coi Leray and what Coi Leray did to him. Let's listen.
When I went on the podcast and I Don't Call Me White Girl, and I talked about Coi Leray not coming on the show and whatever, and there was all this fallout. Coi Leray called me and told me that she called Diddy to complain to him about what I said on a podcast, as if Diddy was going to do anything to me. I don't work for Diddy. I own my own podcast. I own my own show. My show airs on Revolt in partnership with Diddy, who just texted me that he loves the show. And so the idea that she had the clout to try to push buttons to do anything was crazy to me. And the only reason why I entertained her foolery was because she's a young girl who clearly has not been guided or coached on how and who to fuck with, because she was fucking with the devil and didn't understand the devil and the internet. Now, I've given her a lot of graces. I've given a lot of people, but this whole cancel culture, this whole idea that people could pick up the phone. Coi Leray thought she could call Diddy and tell Puff Daddy Diddy Sean Combs, who I have a deal with, to do something to me for having to cancel the show. Listen, she better cancel a world tour if she can book one. She better cancel a single if she can get it to the top of the charts. She better cancel her stylist if he overcharged her clothes. She better cancel something else or connect to God and figure out the disconnect to the cancel to heaven. But when it comes to everything over here, can't nobody cancel nothing over here. I've given a lot of you grace. The grace is almost over. Because they said, the battle is not yours, it's the Lord's. And the Lord said, nah, nigga, here, you can have it. So I'm about to take all the battles back on. Shout out to Lana Adams. Jason Lee is going through something, but Jason Lee's on his way back. Just so you know, just so we're very clear. Because I've had celebrities try to call, have me killed. I've had celebrities do all types of crazy shit to me. And I still show up every day. I still go to the club. I still ride around with my gun. I still hang out and do what I do because ultimately I don't fear nobody but God. And that's why when people try to attack me online, going back to Jonathan Majors and what he's going through, the things that don't really line up with who I am as a person, they don't affect me. And I don't feel like I need to tell everybody. The only reason why I'm bringing out the Coi Leray tea, because now you guys are going to be all on YouTube talking about it, is because this person who's never even had a copper plaque had the idea that she had the authority to pick up the phone and cancel me. Everybody you ever want to do a song with, from J Balvin to Cardi B to Megan Thee Stallion, they all in this phone. Diddy too. So the idea that anybody could pick up, when she told me she called and tried to complain like Diddy was my daddy, I gave her grace. I said, listen, I understand that you think I give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. But I'm here to tell you that don't take it personal. I was disappointed in myself then, as I am in now, as I'm reflecting on it, that I gave her that much grace. Because I also told her, I don't even get on the phone with y'all because I don't care about none of y'all that are mad. And what I've learned in this whole experience with grieving, and I know I may be going on a tangent now, but this is the podcast. It's not a scripted show. I can do whatever. Is I've given y'all so much grace that y'all think I'm pussy. I've given y'all I've allowed you to tuck your kids in at night. I've allowed you to keep your deals. I've allowed you to keep your little TikToks. I've allowed you so much grace. I've allowed you to be I've allowed y'all to do so much while y'all sat and played with me. And I also realized Charlamagne said something to me that I cannot shake. He said, you know, you're only useful. He said, you know, you're useless unless you can be used. And when I think about how many...
All right, so that's what Jason Lee had to say. And to me, I feel like that's bad if that's what Coi Leray tried to do. I feel like Coi Leray, and don't get me wrong, it's a dirty industry that we're in called Hollywood, where people, once their well, I shouldn't say people, once celebrities get their feelings hurt, they have money, they have power, they have a lot of things, they have pull to destroy you and destroy what you've built up. And I feel like as someone with power and pull, you have to know what to do with that power and pull. You have to rationalize the different moves that you're going to make. Don't ruin someone's reputation or someone's life just because you can. And I feel like that's a part of what Cardi B is doing a little bit with Tasha K. And it's just like, why are you doing it? Because someone said something bad? Because of words? Like, why not turn a blind eye to it, to the words? Why not ignore the words? Or even now that you've sued, this is just going back to Cardi B in a little way, now that you've sued Tasha K and she's no longer talking about you in a negative light, why doesn't that satisfy you? So back to Jason Lee and Leray, if someone said something bad that you didn't like, why don't you move on? Why don't you get the therapy that you need and understand that people are going to have opinions that aren't going to be the same thing, that aren't going to be the same as yours, but also aren't going to be what you want to hear. I just feel like, Hoy, if you did that, that was really, really wrong of you. And I'm happy that Diddy didn't cancel his deal with Jason Lee, essentially. But anyway, thanks for sitting through this podcast episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening to this through Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we'll chat next time. Laters.